Tonight, Trade Union Congress warns against nationwide protests. Trade Union Congress warns against nationwide Congress protests. Secondary schools across local government areas in Akwa Ibom State receive farm inputs for cultivation. Plus, Super Falcons of Nigeria meets Team Brazil in first game of Women Olympic Tournament. Good evening and thanks for joining us on the news. I am Omo Basi Edit. This broadcast is reaching you live on StarTimes channel 103 and on our social media platforms on Facebook and YouTube. And now to the news. Trade Union Congress of Nigeria has warned against possibility of the planned nationwide protest being hijacked by hoodlums and calls on the country's security agencies to ensure adequate security to protect the life and property of Nigerians. President of the union, Festus Osifo, who gave the warning during a press briefing in Abuja, says the union is a party to the protest. Joseph Hodgson reports.
It is a briefing that centers on trading issues in the country. The planned nationwide protest, 70,000 naira new national minimum wage, and rhetoric making the rounds about Dangote refinery. TUC President Festus Osifo, while acknowledging the fundamental rights of citizens to protest, warned that such protests without a face may have mischiefs with hidden motives of causing destruction with heavy toll on the downtrodden.
When it degenerates to chaos, when it degenerates to violence, when hoodlum, hijack such protests, it may lead to several issues. And part of those issues could also be vandalization that we have also observed. And in most cases, people that are vandalized are downtrodden Nigerians like you and I.
On the 70,000 naira new national minimum wage, Osifo says the organized labor arrived at the figure after basing its negotiation on the inflation rate.
We applied that of 2020, we applied that of 2021, we applied that of 2022, we did that up till 2024. And if you apply it, it will bring us to somewhere around 75,900 or thereabouts. So that is when you compound the inflation figure.
The union believes that full implementation of the consequential adjustment by government at all levels will reduce hardship.
So from grade level 1 to grade level 17, apply the 133% equally. Yes, and across different steps. But at the end of the day, the agencies that is saddled with that responsibility will come out with what they think. But we will have those conversations with them. If they come out with a table that we think is not favorable to our members, we will also object.
The union is also concerned about the narrative surrounding the Dangote refinery, saying it is likely to scare investors and wants the federal government to address the issue head-on. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
And still talking security, the Department of State Services says it has identified the sponsors of the planned protest and warned them not to proceed with the protest as it is not in Nigeria's interests. In a statement, the service acknowledged that while peaceful protest is a democratic right of citizens, it confirms the sinister plan by some elements to infiltrate the protest and use it to cause chaos and extreme violence in the land. It has also identified the reason behind the protest to be political and the plotters' desire to use the intended violent outcome to smear the federal and sub-national government, thereby making them unpopular and pitch them against the masses. The long-term objective, the DSS confirms, is to achieve a regime change, especially at the center. The statement adds that the service has also identified, amongst others, the funding lines, sponsors, and collaborators of the plot. However, it does not think that aggression should be the first line of action in the instance in handling the emerging scenario. It has instead applied non-kinetic and conflict resolution strategies, including moral persuasion, stakeholders' engagement, and other multi-track diplomatic shuttles to dissuade the planners from actualizing their undesirable objective. While the different levels of government have routinely explained the agenda to ameliorate alleged harsh economic conditions, the service urges the prospective protesters to listen to the voice of reason, good conscience, and patiently engage with the authorities in the interests of peace. This has become important given that violence begets destruction of lives and property, as well as serve as a distraction to governance. The agitators are encouraged to use other avenues available to them to channel their grievances without resorting to violence. The federal government says its immediate agenda is directed at tackling the current food crisis in the country with focus on supporting the agricultural sector in the fight to reduce food prices. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edo, gave the emphasis while updating the media on the country's economic journey and prospect in 2024. Neka Oko reports.
Nigeria's economy has faced significant headwinds in recent months, with concerns over inflation, escalating food prices, currency fluctuations, and impact of global factors. The urgency of the situation necessitates swift action, and the government acknowledges the need to move quickly.
Despite the difficulties, the economy in Nigeria grew faster in the first quarter of 2024 compared to 2023. Non-oil revenue was 68% higher than in the previous period.
To address the current food insecurity, the minister said governors have been provided with 20 trucks of rice per state, in addition to food reserves being released.
There's a strategic import program in the very short term, and that program involves bringing in agricultural raw materials for millers, for food processors, whether wheat, maize, even brown rice, which can be milled by the millers locally. And
he described the current surge in inflation driven by the high cost of living as an anticipated consequence of the necessary economic reforms implemented by the present administration, which he said are crucial for the country's growth.
The debt of Nigeria is down in dollar terms. And it matters. We are an economy that earns dollars through oil revenue. And that is what the rating agencies and others do look at. The government has diligently serviced all its loans and obligations with no recourse to ways and means financing.
The minister is optimistic that the country will witness significant economic improvement with the faithful implementation of the Accelerated Stabilization and Advancement Plan. Neka Oko, NTV News.
And still ahead, secondary schools across local government areas in Akwa Ibom State receive farm inputs for cultivation. Later more when we return. Don't go away.
One passenger, big auntie. Come and enter my bus now.
Hey, conductor, this cough is serious. I beg, you need to go to the hospital.
Hospital?
Doctors say cough symptoms are different in every condition. Some are dry, others are wet, like your own.
God bless you, auntie. I have told this my conductor. The cough has refused to go, and it's tuberculosis.
Conductor, check am o. Make you dey sure. Who no go? No go, no.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
If your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. TB test and TB treatment are free. Just call the National TB Hotline on 3340 or dial *3340# for more information. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health with support from the American people.
The body is made up of 60% of water. Mela table water provides good quality drinking water the body needs. and is uniquely satisfying. Mela Table Water is produced in package by Amela Enterprises, Plot 80 Itam Industrial Area, Itu, Akwa Ibom State. It comes in sachet, 35, 50, 75 cl table water and dispensing jar. For inquiry and booking, call 0704 576 6325. Mela Table Water, naturally sourced, consumer friendly.
For overall best performance and quality education, Fortune Schools is a school to be. We offer standard and excellent services for your child's intellectual development with a serene learning environment. Teachers trained to raise and mold your child in great impact in a competitive world. We have well-equipped laboratories, standard playground, ICT unit, computer lab, library, music studio, and well-ventilated classrooms for effective learning of your treasured child. Fortune Schools is a day and boarding school with fantastic facilities and bus services for the comfort of your child. Visit us today at number 16 Odolsoro Street off Atiku Abubakar Way, Uyo. For more inquiries, call 0706 593 8384 or 0703 576 6904. Fortune Schools, excellence through hard work.
NTA TV College with pedigree of training professionals in broadcasting and other media practitioners has the following courses for the third quarter. 3 weeks online reporting, date 15th July 2024 to 2nd August 2024. Course fee 250,000 naira only. Accommodations inclusive. 2 weeks audio engineering operations and maintenance, date 15th August 2024 to 16th August 2024. 2 weeks managing the boss and modern office administration, date 5th August 2024 to 16th August 2024. 2 weeks camera operations, date 19th August 2024 to 30th August 2024. Cost 200,000 naira only. Accommodations inclusive. Come and broaden your broadcast knowledge with our highly skilled and experienced facilitators. NTA TV College, training you to be what you want to be. For more inquiries, call 080-834343. NTA TV College, Jos, for knowledge and skills.
One passenger. Big auntie, go enter this bus.
Ha! Oga conductor, this guy cough na serious matter. You suppose go hospital.
Hospital care.
Haba, doctors don talk am say different types of cough dey. Some na dry cough, but this your own na wet cough e be.
Big auntie, na God go bless you. I don tire for this my conductor and him cough wey no gree go. E fit even be tuberculosis.
Conductor, go check am o, make you dey sure, because who no go no.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
If cough don't worry you past 2 weeks, if it be tuberculosis, TB test and treatment, na free. Just call the National TB Hotline for 3340 or dial *3340# to get better information. This message now from the Federal Ministry of Health with support from the American people then.
Welcome back to the rest of the news. Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umoino, has called on all the outgoing local government transition chairmen to ensure their full support for the candidates of the People's Democratic Party in their areas ahead of the local government election. The governor made this call during a meeting with the transition chairman held at the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Uyo. Kelvin Samuel tells us more.
Addressing Chairman Governor No commend him for the job done so far, assuring that his administration will continue to work with every one of them in different capacities. He notified them that the state is in receipt of 24,000 bags of 25 kg rice from the federal government and has added another 24,000 bags to ensure it covers more people at the grassroots.
We are sending them to you, to your local government, based on the number of gazetted villages, and he has it 2,272. Those are gazetted villages that the state has. By our calculation, each village will have 20 bags. So they will check. But please, we have to ensure that we finish sending these things to various villages. However, you are.
The distribution of 20 bags of 25 kg rice to all the gazetted villages in the state is to commence from Friday, July 2024 in Uyo, and
secondary schools across local government areas in Akwa Ibom State have received farm inputs to boost food sufficiency in the state. This gesture is courtesy of the state government through the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Sufficiency. Details of this will be brought to you in a subsequent bulletin. Ahead of October 5, 2024 local government elections in Akwa Ibom State, National Orientation Agency is intensifying campaigns on voters' education across 31 local government areas in the state. That's not all, because NOA is also scaling awareness on birth registration by the National Population Commission and the National Identity Management Commission. Etienne Oibala reports.
Tagging of the statewide voters' education at Mbayani local government area, Akwa Ibom State Director, National Orientation Agency, Mr. Mpotom says the agency will go around every part of the state with a message of peaceful participation in the forthcoming local government poll in Akwa Ibom.
We emphasize on the principle of internal democracy to select the party candidates.
Mr. Mpotom, while addressing staff of the local government, also harps on the e-birth registration by the National Population Commission and National Identity Management Commission. According to him, the registration, which is for children from 0 to 5 years, is to ensure accurate identification, while the birth certificate will be issued free from July to November this year.
They need to allow those volunteers who are going around the medical facility places so that they can be registered according to due processes.
Permanent Secretary, Bureau of Political and Social Reorientation, Akwa Ibom State, and others also shed light on the exercise.
Our job is that of sensitization, re-engineering the minds of the people to leave the old ways and to embrace the old ways.
What you've been experiencing in the past, in the form of thuggery, should no longer feature anymore.
The Chairman, Transition Committee in Mbayani, reacts positively, assuring that the message will go to all villages in the rural community.
You can disagree, but without violence. Mbayani is positively, relatively peaceful for investors and every other thing.
National Orientation Agency says it remains committed to empowering people with knowledge and tools necessary to participate actively in the democratic process for the betterment of society. Etienne Oibanga, NTN News.
And now to sport. Super Falcons face tough test against Brazil in Olympic opener. This and more with Ijoma Peter Wantian Sports Update.
Barely 2 days to the start of the 2024 Paris Olympics, the Super Falcons of Nigeria are set to begin their Olympic campaign Thursday when they take on Brazil in the opening game of Group C encounter. The coach and the Ball Drum side have been training ahead of the games to ensure the team come out of the group already tagged the Group of Death.
I think getting out of the group should be the main focus of Randy Waldrum and his team. It's not going to be easy against Brazil. We know how strong Brazil are. But I think the Super Falcons have all it takes. If they can get a draw first game and avoid defeat, I think we should be able to get out of that group.
We have seen Brazil come out second on 2 times in the Olympics. So I feel it's going to be a tough one. But as a patriotic Nigerian, I'm looking, even if it's a draw, we can manage in this fixture.
And to cycling, International Cycling Union has awarded Nigeria 2 additional slots in the cycling event of the Paris Olympic Games. Nigeria's sole representative in the cycling event of the Games, Ese Upeseraye, who initially qualified to compete in the road time trial, will now seize the opportunity to make the podium in carrying track and individual sprint categories. President Cycling Federations of Nigeria, Jandomenico Masari, confirmed to NTA Sports that the reigning national and African champion is in high spirits and relishing the opportunity to win medals in Nigeria's first appearance in Olympic cycling history. And finally, to basketball. Africa basketball champions will today play Japan in a last preparatory game for Olympics. The Tigers have been in Germany with coach Rena Wakama, where they lost test games against Germany and Serbia. Nigeria will now be gunning for their first friendly victory when they fight out against Japan in Lille at 8 in the evening on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Basketball Federation has released the final roster for the games, including Captain Ami Okonkwo, Elizabeth Balogun, Ezine Kalu, and Adebola Adeyeye. With sports update, Ijoma Pitawante, NTA News.
Trade Union Congress has warned against nationwide protests. Secondary schools across local government areas in Akwa Ibom State have received farm input for cultivation. You also heard in the news that Super Falcons of Nigeria meets Team Brazil in first game of Women Olympic Tournament. And that's the news. Thanks for watching. Stay on now for the translations in Ibibio with Emedio Mo. Good evening.
Ebogo Eko to Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, Ebo Yang Bonowo, Esiong Idemekbong, Isang Yareset Amo Eyem Minamdo. Ebo Kufong with secondary, Ken mention Siong Kokara, Kesterem Ebo Mfriwa. Nko ke Super Falcons, ke Iden Yen Eye Brembri by Brazil, ke Olympic Abigitong mi. Ukangin mi komo anyang meru emediong mo kamando tumbok ndubre yomi. Ebo Eko to Trade Union Congress of Nigeria ebo yang bono we niere akikere arisang isang iyaresat esiong ide mekbong bak mbon teme aridat imieru nsanfana. Ammo ekes no yo ekot me nka ukpeme ke idenyin yakrebo ke emem aba. Adai word ke ebogodo first to sosifo aketangami nanganienge neme yemme akombok yakubo yombogomi ke kombong. Ebogo to Trade Union Congress of Nigeria etang ofon ana tembono we kusong iremekbong isang iyaresat amon awe niega kekere arina mi ebo kedina mami akeminam mbonwo edok esnekesat ndien esanfana edigiben mfana isok irenyen ebo kembonwo mi emesan fana mi ke ye biat mempo ukara ekebopoke ufon mbonowo ndien uforo yenkot iri doko abio nangakberok amma esen ebenge boyak mbonowo esiongo idem ekpong ari sangisang iyare sremi edo yagammo eda mukara manatoro ebop idanyin emada niero etange ko ebang usiagi fia akedangote den ebo yak ukara esem ko ebanga manatoro ufuro yenkot adok oyoko kemi segem ko ebanga nangam ko bonu kekeminam mbone ekperok eri ben ufuro eri etemme efefenge ekpong irenyen mi kuyo kebanga ke nduba megewo abigiraritie usene fiong group iswami ufogotom ekote kibibio NOA eka mention sion ko kara kesteremi man eno mbonowo ukpe ebanga adinam ado kombong yin ayanam yagediong seketang ebanga Keriben ukpe mkpo abanga kendutum ufi ubok ngot mbonowo kenko kara mkparenin. Ekamba wo ke National Orientation Agency ete mkpo utum aboke ufo utum dimo eben ukpe mkpo abanga kendutum ufi ubok erok afritie kemme nko kara kesterem man bonowo ekene enam adinamado kemem. Ete mkpo utum na ketangiko ama aboke rose ntogojen emanake tiongoke iswaket wo iswa ition enye ngweru senemana au fogutum asire mkpo ebanga ubarawo ebo yagenie denke ado adiwot nte mbonowo kere etongo ebo ke tongo eno ngwet usenemana ami tongo ke afyong ami sam afyong doboket iswami kero kemfon adai wor ke nko kara mkparenin ama akobinemesat abanga adonamami anyobo ke etibomi ayasam afritie ke nko kara di imo ufo utomeko to NOA kibibio ebo ke mimo ibisokika kaiso adikanbo ke mbono wo eni fiok ekene ebwana ke adinam kere enamma ke abio manatoro uforo yenkot arogobio mfon mi kuyo
Timbongin atrero ndube yomi asere tutumpa.